Hi everyone, and thank you for coming today. Appreciate you being interested in Boundless as well as how OER scales the student-teacher relationship out the classroom. And let me know if anybody in the back can't hear me. So, Audrey Waters is a good friend, and I don't know if she's in here right now, but really enjoyed her keynote presentation yesterday. But we do have, some areas in which we disagree. One is that the internet disrupts all, and I said disrupts. You can quote me on it. It does positively. The question is how much time it takes. One area where the internet has been very slow to disrupt all is textbooks. And those of you who were at Nicole Allen's presentation in this room yesterday saw a very similar slide to this, which shows that college textbooks has outpaced inflation, the consumer pricing index, by 3 times. We all know the numbers. We've seen them over the course of this week. The amount of money that is being spent on publisher content is absolutely astronomical and is a real drag on the entire education ecosystem. It hurts students, it hurts schools, it hurts teachers, it hurts everyone. And the thing is, though, it's really most acutely felt at the student level. And all of us here understand and appreciate that we can do more to help students, administrators, faculty, and others, but not everyone in the ecosystem really feels that pinch like students do. So raise your hand if you have a smartphone. Okay, everybody. And did you like your life better before this? I myself didn't. I really enjoyed life, but I enjoy it even more with it, right? I have a full computer in my pocket. I can do virtually anything with it. I don't get lost anymore. I can talk to anybody on the go. I've got the entire internet at my disposal. And that's pretty awesome. And so when Audrey yesterday said, the iPhone 5 is not much different than the iPhone 1, I own both. It's a lot different. It's like the first computer I had versus this MacBook Air that I have, right? The computing power is amazing. The Wi-Fi is much better. It doesn't drop calls. I love this device, and I thank Steve Jobs and Apple for building it for me and for all of us. Raise your hand if you use Google. Everybody. Did you like your life better before this? I didn't. The internet was hard to find things. Not a lot of websites on the internet. Now, billions of pages, easily accessed, all indexed, google.com. Amazing, right? So why are we still doing this? Right? Gutenberg developed this technology in the early 1400s, and we'll celebrate about 600 years of the printing press in the next decade. 600 years, this technology, no evolution, right? That is wrong. And understandably, students demand a better learning experience. So, it's easy to forget kind of where students come from. Students entering this class of 2013, the freshman class of 2013, were born in 1995, right? To give you an idea. Every single student entering the class of 2013 was born after the internet, after early computing, and they want more, right? To them, textbooks are completely arcane. They're arcane to us anyways, but to them, it's just like, it's like hard for them to even understand. They were born with a tablet, right? And so, today I want to talk about how technology can help address some of the gap between students and teachers. And it starts with OER, which I'll talk about in a minute. So, going back even further than Gutenberg, all the way to, Socrates is, one-to-one teacher-student relationship. Now, this is pretty great, right? I mean, we've all had that teacher that, really spent a lot of time with us and really helped us deeply understand and become passionate about, a particular subject. And there's no replacement for that. Robots will not replace that. I do agree with Audrey there. Right? The thing is, again, as we've adapted, evolved, and tried to move forward in education, we've actually seen something that concerns me. What used to be a one-to-one relationship, in early schooling, then became, say, a 1-to-20 relationship, a classroom, right? And this is, a standard-sized classroom in K-12. From there, at the introductory college level, you see often classrooms of 200 or more, right? It's hard for me to gauge how many people are in here, but I'd say, close to, 50 to 100. And beyond that, there starts to be a lot of stress, right? Because the student-teacher relationship starts to break down. And what you see now is with MOOCs, it's going further from that one-to-one relationship to now, 1 to 200,000 or more, right? And what I'd like to ask all of you to ask yourselves, and I'll leave some time to talk about it after my presentation, is, what started with personalized, adaptive, and competency-based education has now evolved to a one-size-fits-all linear path with just a bigger microphone, okay? And this is what I call scaling the classroom, right? This is just simply the classroom being bigger, okay? But what I'd like to propose and promote is scaling education the right way, and you scale the right way by scaling the teacher, right? Continuing to make it easier for the student and teacher to interact with each other, okay? And what Boundless is built for is to support the teacher, not replace the teacher. And so I'll talk about Boundless a little bit more in a few slides for those of you not familiar with it. But first I want to go a little deeper on how OER and technology can bridge the student gap. And so, it all starts with great, high quality, low cost, modularized content. And that's what we're passionate about at Boundless, and all of our content is CC BY SA. And we curate it and create it from the best sources available on the web, many of which have been created by some of you in this room, which we appreciate. But we don't stop there, right? Because going back to what students demand, they demand more than a textbook. And even if all we're doing is taking a textbook and putting it on a web page that's static and doesn't change, or a PDF, that's just not enough. That's the same experience that students have had, just now it's accessible online. It really needs to be more than that. And so, we believe in taking the great OER that's out there and investing in technology around it to ultimately reach, and impact and improve education for students, who is our customer who we're focused on primarily. So a little bit about how kind of we see OER today and how it's evolving, and what Boundless is doing in furtherance of that. So OER today, there's a handful of large contributors and then a long tail of smaller contributors. It's decentralized, it's very hard to find. Raise your hand if you've looked, spent hours looking for OER for your classes. Yeah, a lot of hands. It's really, really, really hard to find. So it's out there. The technology in OER specifically is fairly limited. I don't know if, I asked a question, has anybody seen, any really great, rich, interactive OER? No. It's very limited, to say the least. Really, it's currently, which is still great, but online versions of, the Gutenberg textbook. And then, the impact on students right now with OER, which is great, and it was just announced, that OER has saved students $100 million. Really, the only impact right now today is dollars saved, and that's great. But again, it's just not enough. So where can OER go in the future to help bridge the student-teacher gap with technology? One, how many of you are familiar with Git? You. So Git is versioning software, really robust. Imagine being able to, it's like Google Docs essentially, where multiple people can be contributing to a single document, as well as take and fork that document to create derivatives of it. And so we really see the future of OER being centralized in one place, starting with a single module, right? Like photosynthesis, and then anybody can find that photosynthesis module, take it, add to it, edit it, fork it, and make it their own. Again, all of which openly licensed. The technology we see as becoming fully adaptive to the student's needs. So really being rich and responsive to how that particular student learns. And again, with centralized OER and fully adaptive technology, it can help the students not only save money, but help them learn. And I'll tell you a little bit now about what Balance is doing and where we are. So what Balance does is we scour the web for the best openly licensed content. And we only take CC BY and CC BY essay content. We have about a couple hundred writers in our 20 subject areas, in the maths, humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, and business subjects, including all the subjects you would expect: biology, chemistry, psychology, physics, business, marketing, management, finance, accounting, and so forth and so on. U.S. history, art history. We curate the best OER, and then we add to it to help the students. One of the things that we add is what we call smart notes, which I'll show you, which are essentially bullets of the most important salient points from the full text. And this is really for two reasons. In our customer development with students, students today, they live, again, their life on a device that's this size. And they're going from the bus stop to class, or from class to the quad, and reading full text on the go is not a great experience on a mobile device. And so we've taken that same experience, which is great on a computer, and scaled it down to an iPhone with bullets so that the student can be studying on the go. With respect to technology, not only have we made it easy and accessible and mobile, we've also added reading states so the student can pick up wherever they left off, whether they went from their PC to their tablet or their mobile device, as well as we've included adaptive flashcards and quizzes. So for the flashcards, we have spaced repetition. When a student is looking through a flashcard set, they tell us, was it easy, medium, or hard to recall what was on the back of that flashcard? And if it was easy, they won't see that flashcard again. If it was hard, we might shuffle that back in another deck when they're looking at flashcards later, so that we can force them to, reinforce that particular piece of information. And our quizzes are interactive such that we actually don't tell you the correct answer if you've chosen the incorrect answer. We force you to go back to the book, and we make it easy for you to do so. We provide you a link to go right back to the page where this material was taught, so that you have to reread that page, synthesize and understand that information, and then answer the question. So that really imprints the information in the student and helps them retain it. And today we offer our content both for free through our partners Apple and Amazon. You can get all of our content for free on iBooks or Amazon Kindle, or on the web, which is $19.99. And the reason that might seem counterintuitive, that the static versions, on iPad or Kindle are free, and then our dynamic versions are $19.99. But for the student to really get the benefit of moving as the student does between devices, as well as getting all of the benefits from our interactive quizzes and flashcards, we found that students are actually very happy to pay $19.99, which is a small cost compared to $150 to $200 for textbooks, to have a very robust textbook. It's much more than a textbook. In surveys of our students, and we reach about 2 million students a month, 88% of students who responded to the survey told us using Balance they got the grade they wanted high. So students absolutely love what we're doing. And again, it all starts with OER. We couldn't do what we do without high quality, royalty-free content. If we had to go and license content from the publishers, we could never offer what we do for $19.99. And a little bit more with respect to a study that was done by students at the Harvard Graduate School of Economics. Used a Boundless book and compared it to an e-textbook, so a publisher book, the e version of it, which as I said, looks exactly like the Gutenberg version. It's static, it's flat. There's no dynamic features. There's no interactivity. the students in the Boundless condition achieved higher scores in less time studying from Boundless, and in addition, they found Boundless more clear, easier to read, easier to locate what they were looking for, and enjoyed reading the content. And so what we're all trying to do in this community is make it enjoyable for the student. And now I'll start to talk about some of the tools that we're going to offer for teachers. So to date, we've been 100% student focused, and we've been marketing directly to students saying, hey student, irrespective of the textbook that you've been assigned, you can use Boundless either for free or with all of our features for $19.99. And here's a slide with some of our subjects. Again, there's calculus. I think yesterday Nicole Allen mentioned one of the calculus authors, Stuart, who with his book purchased a mansion in Canada. Again, calculus for us is either free or $19.99. No mansions being purchased. And here's a screenshot so you can see what Boundless looks like on a PC. And I just highlighted one feature, which is search. And one of our marketing taglines is, it's not your assigned textbook, it's better. And this is really what motivates us is being better than a textbook, because with technology and OER, there's no reason why it shouldn't be better. Not just cheaper, but better. And here's a screenshot of what flashcards and quizzes look like on the go, which would be a very similar experience on the PC as well. And so how we do this is we go across the web, we find the best content, and that's what you see in step 1. In step 2, with our proprietary CMS, we organize the content and synthesize it. We do peer review. We have a couple hundred writers in all of our various subject domains, and by the way, we're always looking for new experts, and we do pay our experts to help us peer review our content. So if you have an interest, please look at our jobs page. We call our writers ed curators because they're really out there helping both curate and improve education. And then the fourth thing that we allow is customization, rich customization. And this is new, and this has only been released in the last week, and we'll be publicly announcing it next month. We're now making it available, all of our content with 15,000 plus learning objects, for you to quickly and easily drag and drop, rearrange, create your own textbooks. You can start with any of our 20 subjects or from any of our 1,000 titles. So if you teach biology and you teach Campbell biology and you want a turnkey OER solution, right now it's very hard to find. But what you can do on Boundless is say, okay, I teach Campbell biology, which means photosynthesis is chapter 10, so I want OER where the photosynthesis is already in chapter 10, so that I don't have to redo my syllabus, so that I don't have to redo my slides, so that I don't have to redo my various instructing material. And so that's what we're enabling, for you to start with any of our 1,000 books, popular books, or 20 subjects, to mix and match, drag and drop, build cross-functional classes, all in a very, very simple and elegant drag and drop interface. And you'll be able to do this both on the PC as well as your tablet, to the extent you like to work from an iPad or a tablet. And so these features, again, are new. They're upcoming. We're piloting them in beta right now, and so if you're interested, please email me at nick@boundless.com, and I can give you access to these, and they'll be released next month. So this is what the classroom, a dashboard will look like in our app. So you can see that you have a list of all of your students at the top. We can import an email list. You can see the assignments that you've used from our book, and so we have a library of 20,000 plus quiz questions, and then additional teaching resources. So we're actually going to be developing PowerPoint slides for all of our content. So every single learning objective that we offer, we're going to make CCBYSA PowerPoints, right? For you to be able to take and do with them what you please, and hopefully improve on them. This is what a student view looks like within the teaching platform. You can see for every single student in your class, have they done the assigned reading? One of the questions I get all the time from teachers is, I don't know what my student is doing between classes. How can I get better visibility into that? So we're going to show you, did your student do the reading? Did they do quiz questions? Did they do flashcard sets? How easy or hard was it for them to recall particular pieces of information? And this will enable the teacher to reach out proactively to the student, and will prompt the teacher to do so. Hey student, I see you're having problems with photosynthesis. Do you want to come to office hours, or can I help you? This is really going to help bridge that student-teacher gap with technology. And so one last slide. One of the things that Audrey said yesterday was OER versus technology. And to me, that's wrong. It's really OER plus technology, and how we can combine these two great advancements to improve learning outcomes for students and reduce costs for students. So I have 5 minutes. I wanted to leave some time for any questions or thoughts from you all. Nothing? Is that clear? All right.
Hi. I love the thinking and the practicality of this, and I'm just thinking through how faculty back at my university typically respond, which is very close about their particular learning outcomes and how nothing is quite the perfect fit. And so how have, so if you've got a set number of curated books, I can't imagine how it's going to match the actual course learning outcomes. So the students could be doing a whole lot of chats with quizzes that don't, that don't match exactly. How have you got that mapped? I'm really curious, because if you've got that many students prepared to just grab for this, I'm guessing some of them are probably doing it on top of the textbook to do, like if you do, if maybe it's half of their topics, or is it really foundation subjects that do have very common content and less in the higher years where it gets a bit niche? That's what I'm struggling with.
Sure. So all of our content is introductory college level. So introductory biology, introductory chemistry, introductory physics. We're constantly building out more content, going deeper in those subjects, as well as adding new ones. We're working on introduction to music and other courses like that. But that's how we really keep the learning objectives consistent, which are very similar. Intro biology to intro biology from one school to another end up being fairly similar. And we've taken that content and allowed each teacher at that school to take of it what they want. And so the student is getting only what they need and not more. Does that answer your question?
So there's a process for the teacher to actually say, this is the closest fit, bundle it up in this way and offer that particular version for my school.
That's exactly right. So this interface, it's hard to see on a static PowerPoint slide, but
the beta bit, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so as it stands, you just have to take what you can do.
That's right. Exactly. So you can get this today if you sign up as a professor on Boundless, and we're reaching out individually to every single professor who signs up right now during our beta period to really help them prepare their material for their syllabus in their class. Thank you. Any other questions?
So this is your own LMS, or I mean, you have your own LMS. How's the connection?
No, we like to think that we're going to be partnering with the various LMSs. Like, we think about the LMS as an iceberg where there's like a ton of work that they do to integrate with the various infrastructure at a school. We're really at the very, very tippy top of the iceberg, and we'll have hooks, into all of the major LMSs to make it easy for single sign-on and things like this. This is really more like course management rather than a full learning management system.
My question is, as a faculty member, if you're already using one course management system,
you'll be able to play nicely with this. So all of our concepts have hard URLs that you can embed in your syllabus. Thank you very much.